Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Madmen with the Box live. Doing it live for the 154th time. I'm Pixel, one of your hosts. That's Chris, another one of your hosts. That's Gevain, another one, and we'll be joined by Joe of the Corallos soon. Our topic today is, of course, a review for The Power of the Doctor, Jodie's regeneration episode.
Hang on, I thought we were doing Edge of Destruction.
Shut your mouth. I gave that option days ago.
Give me an hour, I'll be right back.
Now's not the time to. Now's not the time. Hello, Joe.
Joe, can you believe this? Pixel said we're doing Edge of Destruction, but apparently we're doing Power of the Doctor.
Oh no! Actually, oh no! But
I guess we. But I'm going to be away for an hour just to catch up on an episode. So
it's not an hour; it's a 90-minute episode.
Okay, I'll be gone for 90 minutes. Then I'll be back with my thoughts. Okay.
I'm gonna fly to Australia to kick your ass.
I was very tempted to leave the call for the bit.
I tried. Listen. Oh, and that's what we really have to talk about. We don't really have a news piece to talk about. Our news is that you can't watch Doctor Who anywhere. You can go ahead and buy it, I guess, on Amazon, but they have removed it from streaming on all the major platforms. So Disney's not picking it up from the looks of it. HBO's contract has run out, so you cannot find a streaming service in this day and age. Modern Doctor
Who. Yeah, I've even looked here, like Doctor Who on one of our streaming services, Stan, doesn't have it anymore. So I can't even watch Modern Doctor Who unless I buy it.
So from here on out, I guess we have to end the channel. Week, I kept saying, well, why don't we do the Edge of Destruction? I suggested a funny little episode called The Death of Doctor Who just a few hours ago. Try to give us an out, but Chris was insistent that
we
will find a way. Watching Doctor Who. Huh?
We are professionals, quotation marks.
We watched Doctor Who how it was meant to be watched on 240 over on Daily Motion.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. As God intended, as Sydney Newman and Verity Lambert intended, 240p on Daily Motion with ads.
Yeah, it's a real shame. I haven't been this upset since Adric died.
I don't know. I think there's some more recent things to be upset about. But...
Spoilers, by the way. Spoilers.
All right.
It's such a weird thing. Yeah, like I've checked a couple of hours like here. Like I'm going to guess it's probably not on Amazon either. It used to be on Amazon. But like here, let me have a quick look. Amazon Prime, Doctor.
You can buy it on Prime. Yeah, you ain't streaming it. Yes.
Oh, here we go. Top results. Doctor Who. Currently unavailable due to expired rights. Yeah, it's not on Amazon Prime either. So, BBC? What the fuck are you doing? Unless I'm going to guess, literally only the British can watch it.
Well, I mean, of course they have the rights because
they have iPlayer, but like
they have their own rights. Yeah,
they have their own rights, but it's like no one else can watch Doctor Who now. Aside from if you have Disney Plus, you can only watch RTD2, which I would not wish upon my worst enemies.
Right?
How's
Things
it
You're gonna have
Britbox?
some enjoyment, then you're just gonna have a whole lot of disappointment. That is so
Right.
wild that like the rights have just lapsed everywhere. But then again,
Sack Russell T. Davis.
Guys,
Oh, but-
things haven't looked this bleak since the sound of drums.
And what was that? What was it? Was it 10% of humanity was decimated or something?
Yeah, it was a rough time.
Yeah, I don't know. So who knows what the hell's going on with Doctor Who, like
Yeah.
around the world, outside of merry old United Kingdom, like,
Yeah.
because yeah, I guess we're back in the time of the 60th anniversary where all of England got everything, and all we got was just the specials.
Yeah.
We
It
don't even
hasn't
get
been
that
this
anymore.
Hopeless. It hasn't been this hopeless since the cliffhanger at the end of The Case of Androzani Part 3.
I'm stick to the theme, Joe.
So I don't know, unless
There
they're all going to
is-
go back onto BritBox, who knows? We're just
How is it not on BritBox? That's what I don't understand. That should have been an easy fallback.
BritBox hasn't had Modern Who, as far as I can recall, ever. They had Classic Who. But now you can find Classic Who on Tubi, which also has. But
Yep.
at least that's something. At least that's an option.
Yep.
Modern Who just unless you have those physical collections, you're shit out of luck right now. So we're going to be not doing any new modern Doctor Who for a little while, which to go ahead and have our last for as long as it's not available Modern Who episode be The Power of the Doctor really fucking sucks.
No,
Hey, it's fitting.
It's really bad. I haven't felt this betrayed since Turlo.
They said Tegan, he's dead.
We have the smallest piece of news that we can talk about, which is apparently, and this was happening while this last season of Doctor Who was being released, but there was a podcast. It was held behind a paywall, but RTD was interviewed on that, and now it's no longer behind the paywall, so people can go listen to it. And he says basically, yeah, I wanted annual, yearly Doctor Who, but right now with how streaming works, we have to wait to find out what Disney thinks, and they will decision until well after season 2 ends. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way modern television is working right now.
And Russell, this is half of your fault. You fucking overpromised so much when you came back to Doctor Who. Yeah, we're going to have Doctor Who every year. We're going to have so many spin-offs. It's going to be the next new Stranger Things because now it's on Disney Plus. We're going to have this huge budget. It's like, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is also Disney's fault because they're not being transparent about, they're not being clear about, okay, are we going to continue this or not? Like, what the hell? But it's also half of Russell's fault for overpromising everything.
No, I haven't been this disappointed since Revenge of the Cybermen.
At least I can watch that.
You can watch it. There you go.
And watch and be disappointed.
All right. I think that's all of our topic.
Watch as the past 2-3 years of Doctor Who just also lapses from Disney Plus. I would not be surprised.
That's
Disney has gotten rid of shit for no reason before. Hey, you want to watch that Willow TV series? Good luck.
Can you imagine if they go ahead and they say, well, we don't want it anymore, and we don't want you to have it. So they'll just
again, like I said, Disney does do that. They will just get rid of shit and just not put it up anywhere else. Not even have physical releases. So it's like, yeah, good luck. You're gonna have to torrent Doctor Who now.
The Doctor.
Now, hang on, pause.
With modern television.
Pause?
Well,
pause,
that's
Pixel.
all right then.
Pause. What does that remind Joe of?
Huh?
What other disappointment has Joe felt like this is similar, okay?
I feel like this would be similar to Deaths of the Daleks.
There we go.
That's right. Every time
Nick Briggs is now sad saying that. How dare you make Nick Briggs sad?
Right. Let's go. Let's start talking about this episode, The Power of the Doctor, the 13th Doctor's final story, the centenary special, and
For the BBC, not for Doctor
for the
Who.
BBC. Yeah, yep. And Chris, do you want to take us away?
Sure. So yes, The Power of the Doctor, which was the 2022 centenary special to celebrate BBC's 100. Oh my God, it's been alive for 100 years. We should probably put it down. I think it's a bit old now.
Name, please.
Yeah, so this is written by Chris Chibnall. There are two actual other writers in this, which I'll talk about when we get to trivia. But mainly written by Chris Chibnall, directed by Jamie Magnus Stone, produced by Nikki Wilson. This is Jodie Whittaker's last story, not counting obviously her cameo in the Reality War, but her last main story of her era. Last story for Sagan Akinola as the doing the music, and obviously the end of Chibnall's tenure as the showrunner. My thoughts on this: when I first watched it, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I thought there was some fun here with it. Going back into it, it's like I still enjoy it, but there's definitely more flaws that I'm now noticing a bit more. Like, yeah, this is Jodie's last episode, and for like a chunk of it, she's just not in it. Like, I think it is like, yeah, it's her final episode, and like she gets replaced with the Master, and she's now just stuck in her own head. So I'm like, okay. And she has to play second fiddle to obviously the Master, but then also the cameos, because then obviously we have our cameos of our classic Doctors, which I will say I do like that it is a clever way of bringing back classic Doctors and their actors by just like they're the Guardians of the Edge. It's not an original idea. One of the novels have done that. Some of the novels have done this before, where in the Doctor's head, the past incarnations exist to some degree. But I think I do like that it's a way to like, okay, let's bring them back. You don't have to explain why they look old. They just are. Yep. Okay. Maybe just they somewhat age in real time in the Doctor's mind. Who cares? It's the Doctor's subconscious. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to make sense. But yeah, Yaz's departure, because this is also Yaz leaving. It's just like, well, that era is ending, so I guess she just has to leave. Bringing Tegan and Ace back, it's fun, even though I don't like how their kind of quote unquote unresolved issues, their beef with their Doctors, it's not actually resolved with the Doctor. It's resolved with a AI hologram that takes the form of their Doctors. So it's like, it's nice, it's sentimental, but it doesn't really mean anything, because they're not actually getting that resolution with the Doctor. They're just getting that resolution with an interface, essentially. And especially with Aces, because, yeah, like, with expanded material, and I'll get to that in trivia, Aces, like, end with her Doctor, with the 7th Doctor. We don't actually really know what happens. If we're going just from the TV show, it's just implied that there was a falling out. So there's really no weight to that when it is like, when they're kind of like saying sorry to each other, where it's like, we don't know what it is. That's the problem. So I don't really find it believable. The Master in this, Sacha Dhawan, I think it's fun. The whole Rasputin dance. That's fun. Getting the Daleks and the Cybermen to team up. All of that is fun. And I really like the idea of there's that rogue Dalek that's like, actually we are actually going against our origin. Like, we're supposed to preserve the Khalid race, and we're kind of failed. So I actually really like kind of that idea, but then that's only used as a means to get the Doctor captured, so it doesn't really go anywhere. So the other companion cameos at the end, it's nice, with specials. Obviously, you want to get those get those cameos in, those past actors, whatever, coming back. So it's fun, even though that's now like Kate's like, I can just recruit any of you now. Do you actually know any children that want a job as well? Even though with some of the cameos, it's like with Mel, this is her first time back in Doctor Who since Dragonfire, and she doesn't say a word. And it's like, well,
and then she never says a word after. She
doesn't amount to anything ever again afterwards. And it's nice seeing William Russell back as Ian, and breaking that record of like the biggest gap in between. I know Pixel's going to be like, oh, he only says, oh, did you say she? So that's your biggest problem with that, huh, Pixel?
No, that's yours.
No, it's not. I've never said I had a problem with that.
Week. I didn't say a damn thing about it.
No, I think it's fine, and obviously they had to work. It was definitely you, Pixel. Don't fucking. I don't know what gaslighting is. What are you talking about?
Gaslighting's not real.
Yeah, gaslighting is not real, Pixel. What do you want about?
I've never lit anything with gas before.
Well, I have in high school, but
I think it's nice bringing William Russell back, and obviously you can't do much with him because he's suffering from dementia, old age at the time, so very limited what you can do with Ian. But it was a nice, and with the specials, it's always going to be these big celebrations, bring everyone back as possible. But the story itself, is fine. Like it's not the best regeneration, leaving of a Doctor and their actor, mainly when in that middle of the story you've thrown them out and they're only really there at the start and the beginning. But overall, I think it's a fine episode. It's fine, and it's fun. It's enjoyable.
Okay, Gevain. Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of this from memory, but I think Chris pretty much nailed it. I think in professional wrestling, there's the concept of the cheap pop. And that's what this episode is. It's a lot of cheap pops. It's like with the cameos of the different companions, the fugitive Doctor shows up. Like Chris says, it's a fun episode. It doesn't offend. I'm a huge fan of 7. Like Chris was saying, it's implied that there's a falling out between the two of them, and I will say, for all its flaws, it was just freaking cool to just have, the 7th Doctor just say back to Ace, we're good, in a way that it called back to when her younger days when she was with him. The Tegan one was a little bit less impactful for me, as I mentioned, for most people, because I don't think the rest of us cared as much about Audric as she did. But I think for the most part, there was just a lot in it. I like the whole kind of companion support group, but again, I think that was it was more like a kind of a cheap a cheap pop thing. Like I am a huge fan of Graham. I like him a lot. I liked him and Ryan in terms of the run, and I think there's enough like feel good fan service moments throughout the episode that basically, while to Chris's point, it's not like the best send off. There's nothing like particularly bittersweet about Jody leaving us, 13 leaving us. It's kind of like it's almost a mercy killing at this point. It's like, yeah, let's go ahead and get this over with. And I'll be honest, I do remember watching it, and when 10, now 14 shows up, I would say I was like, holy shit, in a much better way than when Billy showed up. Rose showed up as, 15, 16? As 15, 16, and whatever she is. It was just like, holy crap, kind of a moment. But I think at the end of the day, it really kind of summed up Jodie's run, the 13th Doctor's run, which is just a lot of hit and miss. It's just a lot of hit and miss. It's like there's some things in her run where it's just like, you're like, okay, that was kind of cool. Or yeah, okay, they could have gone somewhere with that. And then there's other parts of it. It's just like, what are you guys doing? And I think what's funny is now looking back, it just portended, what 15's run ended up being much of the same. It's just like, flashes of greatness here and there, but by and large, just a raging disappointment. Yeah.
Okay, Joe, the Corallos.
Yeah, this one it's kind of tough because yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia, cheap pop kind of stuff that it was great having Ace again. It was great having Tegan again. It was great having the old Doctors again and having them interact. We haven't really had a lot of that with like the classic Doctors in the modern era of them all just getting to like chill and talk with each other, like including Paul McGann and everything. So that was, that's special. We hadn't really had, same thing, like this felt closer to like the 5 Doctors than like anything modern Who has done, sort of before this or since then. So like I do appreciate that a lot. Again, like it feels needlessly overstuffed. Like this isn't a critique so much on this specific episode, but more like Chibnall should have, we got all these other stupid specials that mostly sucked that came out, the same year. And it's like, maybe instead of cramming it all into this special, one of them is the Tegan focused one, where it's the Doctor and Tegan on an adventure. Another one is, Ace and the Doctor. So we really get that like feel of the Doctor getting to spend time with them again in like more of a real way and not just like a 5 Doctors. Because a lot of the guests, while it was great to see, it's like, it's really cool seeing Liz Shaw, Mike Yates, Jamie and Zoe in the 5 Doctors, but they're there for 2 seconds and they're phantoms and they disappear and all that. And it's like, I wish we got more time with them because they wanted to do stuff more with it just makes it feel rushed in a way it didn't have to. Like having Ace have to appear, do a handful of things, and then have her sort of talk with her doctor and working things out, and then doing the same with Tegan, like all in one special was just a lot. And I think it would have been really cool, kind of like to what Chris was alluding to before, like have the doctor be the one who actually is confronting them more directly, but like maybe, you know, uses the psychic paper or something on Tegan or Ace to make them see Jodie as their doctor, and then you put in Peter Davison, you put in Sylvester McCoy, and you have them act, and it's like it's the same difference because you know, like
I'd say similar to like in the most recent series within Story in the Engine, when it's revealed that the one that Goddess met was the Fugitive Doctor, and it switches from 15 to the Fugitive Doctor. So yeah, you could just have it like that, where from their perspective, they're seeing their Doctor, but it's actually 13 trying to resolve the issues between them.
It made a hell of a lot more sense.
Yeah, and like it would have been nicer to spend the time with them and not feel rushed, because when it all gets crammed into this special, it feels rushed, and not that it wasn't special and appreciate it in what it is, but it's like when you're throwing so much at the audience and saying it's all special, then like none of it feels as special as it should.
Yeah.
You know, because that's like all on top of the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Master. Like they could have built it up where it's like maybe like, you know, Tegan's dealing with, you know, the Daleks and in just the one special, and you can kind of reflect on the trauma. The last time she dealt with the Daleks is what caused her to leave the TARDIS, and you can kind of tie it all together and do something a little more meaningful. And then with Ace gets to finally have, if you do it right, a good Cyberman story. So like I think there's sort of a way, you know, you could do something with that, and then the main stories with the Master, and you're just dealing with the main crew, and you get your like, you know, Mel and your, you know, Ian cameos, and maybe that way Mel actually has lines, and maybe you have her a few more things to do. You know, you probably couldn't do that with Ian at this point with William Russell, you know, health-wise and all that. But, you know, it just would have given it all more room to breathe. And I think my biggest problem with this story is there's no room to breathe in like not a great way. Like,
and that's saying something when you talk about people who know this fandom, who know this lore like that. Imagine if this episode was like for someone who's really not that familiar with Doctor Who. It's almost impenetrable.
Yeah, no, I think it's too like it's that Chibnall being a fanboy to the detriment of the show, which I think is just the general consensus. I think, that was just too much. I think like if you spread that out over the specials, like fuck the Sea Devils and some of this other stuff, you just do like, you know, something like that. I think it would have worked. And then you could have actually had like Jodie maybe do more in her own finale. Like, you know, you're mentioning like, it's not the worst regeneration. Like, obviously, nothing will ever be as bad as, you know, 6 to 7. Like, that's like, it's the worst for a lot of reasons, not just on screen, but behind the, you know, screen too. Like, just combines into, I think, probably the worst. But, yeah, you don't think so, Pixel?
No.
How can... What? The combination of both behind the scenes and what we actually see are all awful. Like, it's not even
it's
like...
really awful, but Reality War was just a couple months ago, man. I remember that. That's the worst regeneration story we've ever gotten.
Oh, okay. Worst regeneration story, but, like, I'm not... Like, we don't
know anything about the behind the scenes right now.
Yeah. So like that's still a good answer. I get what you're saying. Yeah. I think once that could be where I'm at once we find out more about what happened. But yeah, it's but yeah, that's a very good point, Pixel. Yeah, plus, I'm trying to move past what happens. You know.
He's in the fifth stage of grief, acceptance. No.
You
Hey,
know,
much like Russell T Davies, we can't move on from the past.
you know, but
Good God. Whew.
See, if Russell T Davies would, if he wanted to hold on to the past and actually respect it, then maybe.
no, you should
go
take
on.
it from. No, you should. That's a good segue. You should take it from here.
Go
The
ahead.
biggest problem with this story is that it sucks.
Yay, heel pixel.
Really, I wish we hadn't reviewed this, because the memory that I had of watching it, like, okay, well, there were a lot of problems, but it was a fine, special. This, to go ahead and compare it to the Five Doctors, is such an insult to the Five Doctors. It's unbelievable.
I didn't mean it quite. I would rather watch the Five Doctors. I was purely talking structure.
That's not even like a.
No,
it's not even a comparison. It's just
not even that, because this is just awful. The one Dalek that you mentioned earlier, like, I forgot about that bit, but like the fact that it actually was a Dalek, like, this is against our purpose. And then the other Dalek, he had no idea that the other Daleks were just watching him all the time. They were just watching his text behind the screens. Oh, he's contacting the doctor. Okay, that's good. And then they nothing after the master gets the doctor. Like, it sucks. It sucks so bad. The best part about this episode is that we go ahead and we have Ace in it, and Ace is great.
Yep.
I know where he's going with this. We're going down.
No. Listen, my Graham meeting Ace and Grace and all that. That's it's stupid fun. This isn't stupid fun. This is sucky. But we accept, we smile and nod and bear it.
Yep.
Okay, Pixel. I posit this to you: survival or power of the Doctor.
Survival is at least an actual story.
And it's also good regardless of what you say.
No, survival still sucks. I hate survival. The fact that, in fact, one of the worst parts about this story is that it reminds me that the master was half cat for a minute. A man's allowed to experiment. Okay.
Well, I mean, he did. What was it? He will be rid of it. This. What was it? This humiliation. I'm trying to think of the exact line, but it's a good bit. That Anthony Hanley, pretty good.
And then I actually do like the costume design for Sacha Dhawan as Rasputin Master. I like that. That's fun. Yeah. But then you watch that dance scene. Can you imagine having to explain that to people? That have you had to? When I first watched it, I had members of the family that were just, because I was watching in the living room with my ma, and my ma actually could keep up with it because we watched Doctor Who quite a bit together. But the rest of the family kept looking. What are you watching? Oh, it's Doctor Who. Okay. You get that smile and nod as they pass by in judgment.
Have they not watched Sound of Drums, Last of the Time Lords, where the master danced to a song in both of them?
Yeah, you know what, man? That's still not as rough as this. The pelvic thrust, and then the Cyberman and the Dalek looking at each other. Not even really looking at each other, because that Dalek turns his head towards the Cyberman, but doesn't move up the eye stalk. Come on, man. Little things.
You're being pedantic at this point.
A little bit. little bit. I think I've earned that right after watching it on Daily Motion in 240 when I tried so hard to keep us from revisiting this episode because of this exact reason. This isn't a good story.
Says that we must respect the dice.
Yeah, go fuck the dice.
You will be rid of this contamination, this humiliation. That's it. I remembered it.
I said whenever we finished Reality War, you know what? At this point, it would have been better if at the power of the Doctor, we went ahead and we faded to black at the end. That wouldn't have been better because this episode really does suck. This is really not a good ending for Doctor Who. So we have to go all the way back. All the way back.
I mean, yeah, to your point, Pixie, you're right. I mean, there isn't a story. It's just a collection of pops. That's what it is. It's a collection of, hey, look at this. This is cool. That's it.
And you know what? I'm fine with a fan servicey episode. That's fine. But this isn't even good fan service, really. Those moments with the old Doctors, absolutely. That's great. But I was even forgiving that it was a hologram. But obviously, not everybody feels that way. It's I don't know. It's just sad. It's sad. This show really sucks. Why do we come to talk about it every week? I don't know.
But I said this about one of 15's episodes. It's like it's one of those things where it's a popcorn string episode. It's just they take a piece of string, they put a bunch of popcorn on it, and they just kind of and that's the only thing holding this thing together is that string. It's the only, and whatever's on that string is not good. Whatever that string is not good, but it's just pieced together. It's like it almost makes no sense whatsoever if you look at it as a whole. You look at the individual, like when I think of this episode, I just think of individual parts of it. Like don't ask me what was the setup, the status quo at the beginning. How did we get from here? What was the turn here? What was the inciting incident? Don't do it because I'm not going to be able to tell you. I'm just not.
Oh, what's the name of the Cyberman from the Haunting of Villa del Ashad? The fact that he just comes back, I'm so glad I made a clone of you. What? Why is that a thing? They just liked the design, so they wanted to go ahead and slap that in the episode too.
I will say, positive, much better Cyber Master designs in this one. Fucking, you get them out of the fucking robes, they look much better. And they decide we're gonna start color coding some of these. Like you have like the one that's all black and has like the Gallifreyan like symbols on it. Like
I think there was one though that had its back frill connected to its headpiece and like on the sides. I didn't like that.
There is one where the thing is much like the classic, like kind of like Cyber Leaders. It's black instead,
but it's like connected to the head when it's supposed to be on the back, like the back frills. I actually prefer. Yeah, I'll say a lot of things about the Timeless Children, but the fact that I liked the Cyber Masters design. I never had a problem with those, but I just really. This wasn't a good episode, man. You will have some trivia before we get into numbers, Chris?
Sure. Wait,
sure.
We have to go back. Here we go. Here we go. So, as I mentioned at the start, there is actually co-writers on this episode, and that is Russell T. Davies and David Tennant. And it's just for that regeneration scene. They are both co-writers. The actual line of "I know these teeth" was written by David Tennant. He came up with that because obviously reference. I just had it here. Where was it? Due to a licensing deal between the BBC and the Disney branded television to have future Doctor Who stories streamed on Disney Plus, this was the final episode to air on BBC America. Well, you know, that looks better than what it currently is now, where it doesn't air anywhere, so except for the new series. This is technically Paul McGann's first actual appearance in an ongoing television production of Doctor Who, since he debuted in a TV movie. The Night of the Doctor is a mini episode, and if you discount any archive footage, he had never appeared in an actual episode of the series. So, yeah. And will I say, best 8th Doctor outfit? I know it's a variation of the Night of the Doctor one, but I really like this version of his outfit. I think it looks so damn good. This is the first time on television that Mel is actually credited as Melanie Bush. She's just was always credited as Mel. And this is the first time that Katie Manning has come back to Doctor Who as Jo Jones on Doctor Who. Obviously, she came back in the Sarah Jane Adventures, but that was a spin-off. But much like with Tegan and Ace, these were the first times coming back to the show for the modern era. And with this episode marks I think it was the first time that every surviving classic Who actor reprised their role.
Yeah.
Like every one of them. Obviously, Peter Davison came back in Time Crash, but for everyone else, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, this was the first time all living classic Who actors. Not counting Tom Baker as well.
Oh, okay.
This marked that all of them, all surviving,
all of them had at this point.
All of them had at this point.
This opportunity. Yeah.
Then, funny enough, this story shares filming locations with the 4th Doctor story, The Pirate Planet, and the 7th Doctor story, The Curse of Fenric.
Ooh.
And with this episode, the 13th Doctor's tenure was able to run for longer than 3 prime ministers governing the United Kingdom. Theresa May, Boris Johnson, and Liz Truss, making her the first ever Doctor to outlast 3 prime ministers, beating Tom Baker's record of having outlasted 2.
Asterisk, I say. Boris Johnson.
If he stayed on for longer, he could have outlasted Margaret Thatcher. I think he left while she was unfortunately in charge. Obviously, this is to celebrate the 100th anniversary of BBC. And we all know this now, but according to Chris Chibnall, this story was filmed in the belief that this was to be the last story of Doctor Who, as he didn't know who would be taking over for him. It wasn't until after filming that it was announced that Russell T Davies would be returning as showrunner, explaining why Yaz chose to stop traveling so she could be given a proper send-off, unlike Ace. I mean, it's kind of a whatever send-off, but I guess technically, yes.
I'm gonna go change my face. Sorry, I'm not gonna keep you around.
It's not like I've kept traveling with people before after I've changed, but yeah.
This time and that time. Oh, don't forget that time.
And it's funny here, looking at the wiki, there's a part here called Contradictions with Expanded Media. So I'm going to list these off. This story touches on the circumstances of Ace leaving the 7th Doctor's company, an event which was not seen on screen, but has been recently depicted in the novel At Childhood's End. However, The Power of the Doctor contradicts this novel by having Ace meet the 13th Doctor, Yaz, and Graham for the first time in that novel, but she meets Ace for the first time in this episode. But even then, that novel does establish that Ace's timeline has multiple possible futures. Tegan claims she hasn't seen the Doctor since 1984, contradicts the Big Finish audio story The Gathering, where she meets the 5th Doctor in 2006, and also the story Fixing a Hole, where she mentions she met the 6th Doctor, which was seen in A Fix with Sontarans, which, I don't know, I feel like that could be a dubious one. The canonicity of A Fix with Sontarans.
She also met the 10th Doctor. In Big Finish.
Which?
Big Finish.
In Big Finish. Clyde Langer had said that Tegan and Nyssa were a couple in Farewell Sarah Jane, but Tegan mentions only having 2 ex-husbands, and Nyssa isn't mentioned at all. 13th Doctor meets the renegade Dalek inside the TARDIS. She claimed that she had never met a Dalek that would turn against its own race. However, the 12th Doctor did meet Rusty, who eventually became a Dalek that turned on his own race. And then the last one being Ace claims that the last time she saw the Master, he was half cat, referencing Survival, which is ignoring the novel First Frontier, where she meets the Master again, the Big Finish audio story Dust Breeding, where she meets the Master again, and the Titan comic Crossing the Rubicon, which I assume she meets the Master again. Okay. And hello to Ashan in the chat.
Hi, Sean. You're a little bit late, aren't you, buddy?
I was listening to the stream, but couldn't be in the chat.
That's fine.
But yes. So there's another. I won't go into all details about this, but the script for this was released, and there actually are some changes from the script to the final product. One of the main ones being that for the companion support group, Martha, Ryan, and somehow Jackie Tyler were going to be there.
Yeah.
Jackie Tyler? Did Chibnall forget that she was trapped in another dimension?
Yeah. Right. And then obviously, since we already know, the regeneration was going to be left open-ended because, of course, Chibnall didn't know if the show was going to continue. In the original script, it just ends with a regeneration, but we don't see who 13 regenerates into.
Whether it should have or not is still up in the air.
After what we got, who knows?
Who knows?
So, rating for this episode, I would probably give it solid 7. Like, it has problems, it's flawed, but I do enjoy it, and I think it's okay. Yeah, 7 out of 10.
I'm tempted to give it a 4 because I think there's a part of the audience, like kind of what Pixel was saying, that family audience, like this really would be like, what the hell is going on? But I think I'm going to give it a 5. I think that while I did enjoy it, I think I was able to enjoy it because I know as much about Doctor Who as I can. And I think that can unfairly detract from the fact that if it wasn't for that, to Pixel's point, it's just not a good story. It just really isn't a good story. It is a collection of moments and highlights and cheap pops and things along those lines. So because of the fun factor, the fan service factor, I'm not going to take it below a 5, but I can't go much higher than that. So for me, it's a 5.
Chill with the Corallo.
Yeah, I'm with Gevain on this one. I'm giving it a 5. I appreciate reminding people about the classic series and these actors and actresses. William Russell, obviously. It's great having him on screen again. Even the people that didn't get really a chance to talk, even if I thought some of it squandered. Getting all the classic doctors and having them chat amongst themselves and all of that was great. I have a lot of problems with the story, but I appreciate all of those efforts. It's not something I really revisit or have an interest to revisit. Like, I will watch the 5 Doctors probably 20 more times before the thought of ever watching this again even comes close to crossing my mind.
Right.
So yeah, I'll give it a 5.
Well, I'm not afraid to go 4. The only reason I'm going 4 is because I think that there's just enough that I have to okay, thanks for doing this, that I can't get because this really isn't any good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing a Landry with my ratings. Sean is saying that they give it a 7 out of 10 normally, but a 9 out of 10 for 13. No, I can't Landry this up. This is just we're going to keep it at that level of suck. And that's all I'm going to say. You have our ratings. 7, 5, 4. And that's all you got. Thanks for joining us for the last modern episode of Doctor Who that we're going to be doing for Lord knows how long.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Who knows? Well, let's see. It's right next to me. I can see what I have as physical DVDs.
Nothing.
Let's see. I have Series 1. I have Series 2. I have the second half of Series 4. End of Time Part 1 and 2. First 3 episodes and last three episodes of Series 5. A Christmas Carol. All of Series 6. Day of the Doctor. Time of the Doctor.
Sean is suggesting a Big Finish speed run since nothing else is available. That's not true. We have classic.
I'm down for that.
You have Classic Who, yeah. If not, we'll go to Daily Motion.
Oh, God.
Never again. We're not doing that again. I already have to go ahead and not respect the dice whenever we get a season that you don't have on the collections. So we're not doing Daily Motion ever again. That was horrible. The only thing that sucks worse than having to watch The Power of the Doctor again is having to watch it with ads.
It's like, if you're gonna pirate, to commit to pirating. That's it's just go all in.
Connor, the very idea of talking about Doctor Who makes me depressed. I'm so
me going to my therapist, Doctor Who. They're like, again.
And I did see your tweet earlier. I would suggest checking out Snare. It was definitely good.
Connor says the
I'm
power
glad
of the
you like
Doctor.
it.
The Power of the Doctor fucks. I love that ep.
90 minutes comes on. 20 minutes pass. Yes, it does.
Yeah. Who knows how we're gonna do this now? Now that Modern Who, unless you have it physically, just doesn't exist anywhere now. Unless after this, they announce like we have this. We're releasing the Doctor Who streaming app where it's all going to be on there. But watches it also only be UK exclusive because fuck the rest of the world.
They've had that attitude before.
PBS there for all that.
They still have that attitude.
I'm very, very excited because I know whatever we talk about next week, it's going to be better than what we just talked about tonight. And that's all that matters. So
I don't know.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time when we're doing something. We're here. That's what
Just
matters.
not Modern Who.
Just
Unless
not
it's
Modern
the ones that I
Doctor.
just mentioned.
Good night.
Good night.
Alonzi.